One of the longest and most static fighting franchises in video games, King of Fighters returns to the Xbox for the third time in a slightly retooled Neowave. There are a couple of reasons for series regulars to check it out, but it's astonishing how little these games have evolved in more than 10 years. The fast but repetitive fighting in Neowave is 3-on-3 as always. This is the bread and butter of King of Fighters, and there's no reason to get rid of it. But there also seems to be no reason to build on it either. You can't switch characters in between rounds unless one of the three you selected get beaten. There are 3 different modes this time: Super Cancel, Guard Break, and Max 2. There's also Heat Mode, where you can intentionally lose a chunk of health to beef up your attack power. KOF veterans should have a good time trying out these new ways to play, but for a title with so much recycled gameplay, it's surprising not to see a massive amount of features. But there is an array of combos and special moves to keep the combat fresh. The action is still as fast as ever, and people returning to the series, especially on the Xbox, will be very comfortable with the controls. But newcomers will find some of the characters and moves unnecessary, as certain fighters, like those that can throw projectiles, seem to have an unfair advantage. Thankfully, you can take Neowave online to unlock both the game's replay value and most rewarding commodity. There are single-team, rematch, and tournament battles. This is the second King of Fighters on Xbox Live, and while it plays a lot smoother than King of Fighters 2002, it doesn't have as many characters to choose from. While there's never been much of a story to King of Fighters, fans will definitely feel familiar with the characters available. Maybe a little too familiar. We've seen everyone in Neowave in some form or another, but this time their quirky personas seem much less prevalent. There's only a handful of arcade-style cinemas and almost no dialogue. The match break trash-talking has been removed for no reason, taking away the game's attitude and personality. And since there's no plot setup for the final battle, there's little payoff in the end. The most recent version of King of Fighters was recently updated to Atomiswave technology. While it may feel different in the arcades, it's tough to notice the improvements on the Xbox. The fighters have more detail in animation, but only if you're looking for it. The backgrounds are definitely better, but they only make the 2D characters stand out more. All of this is decent when compared to other titles in the series, but when you light it up against 3D Xbox fighters like Mortal Kombat and Dead or Alive, there's not much that's impressive about the graphics or the sound design in Neowave, except that they both produce another console dose of nostalgia. But those that can look past all that's average about Neowave only have to shell out about $19.99 to pick it up. So Xbox owners with a fighting fix won't be getting much with the new King of Fighters, but they won't have to spend much either. The problem with Neowave is not that it isn't a fun and potentially addicting fighting game, especially online. It's that what it is now is what it always has been, and all of these sequels are desperately in need of a bold change in direction. With King of Fighters headed for the next generation in the near future, faithful fans might want to consider waiting for the next level.